All these complete sickos, man. Politics is about sickos demanding you conform to their sicko agenda. And I've gone through my entire life with these inferior minds. These godless heathens, so help me God, they're not as intelligent as I am. So help me God, they're not as insightful or wise. Inferior fucking minds that know nothing about me. Sickos that team up with other sickos, trying to tell me that there's something wrong with me when they don't even have a valid test. I mean, literally, this is the situation. A bunch of sickos with no valid test. Telling me after fucking 3 minutes that I must have this disorder or that, and they can't even agree about it among themselves. I mean, complete hypocrisy. Let's not forget that these are the demons who have years, decades, in some cases hundreds of years, depending on what group you're talking about, which, are all part of the greater mental health structure. Years and years of unethical experimentation, of the political abuse of everything they've ever touched, every official position they've ever had, kickbacks, off-label marketing, child experimentation. Pfizer experimenting on kids, and then they start Pfizer Global Security. They integrate with law enforcement and former law enforcement professionals in Pfizer Global Security, and these are the same scumbags who did experiments on children, got sued and lost. I mean, how often do you think big business loses lawsuits? What they did was so blatant that they lost the lawsuits to fucking poor people that can't even read in an underdeveloped nation. In the most underdeveloped part of an underdeveloped nation. Northern Nigeria. Is about as poor and uneducated as it gets. And they lost the lawsuit to them because what they did was so blatant, so in your face. These liars, these people who think they can do whatever they want, they kill babies. I mean, these are liberal dogs. I don't think you understand. These are liberal scumbags who on record kill babies, on record break down families when 80% approximately of inmates come from single parent homes. They then drug the inmates in the prisons after they have broken down their families, pretended to give a shit about them, and won them over to the Democratic Party. They're getting them to vote out of ignorance. They're drugging them every chance they get, and out of ignorance, they're getting them to vote for them so they can break down their families, send them to prison, and drug them in prison. And the ones they don't get in prison, like me, they put into psychiatry. The best way to keep a race from competing effectively is to drug them or to institutionalize them, incarcerate them. How many people are going to compete with Harvard kids from fucking, Pelican Bay? How many people on fucking psych meds invent something fucking ingenious? I mean, just simply almost never happens. And then they're going to turn around and say, oh, these people never do anything. They set them up. The right doesn't care about them, and the left has gone to great lengths to set them up to fail. They've gone way out of their way. And they've twisted everything. They'll quote Martin Luther King, who was a Christian Republican. They'll quote Bob Marley, who was a very devout, monotheistic man who knew the Bible very well. You could basically call him a Christian. Didn't approve what they're doing at all. Wouldn't have gone along with it. Wouldn't have been okay with it at all. He talked about Babylon's system. He didn't say Republicans are the problem. He said it was Babylon's system. All these major parties, all these influential fucking cowards. They destroy. Then they try to make everyone gay and fucking lesbian. So when you're a disenfranchised motherfucker from a broken family that they broke, now good luck winning over an attractive, gold-digging, liberal whore. Either you're going to have sex with some fucking dumbed-down bitch, you know, who isn't materialistic, not out of intelligence, but because she's so drugged up. You know, she's addicted to drugs. So she gets around and she probably has an STD. Or you're going to settle for some fat whale or some ugly, hideous bitch. You know? Because all the attractive women who are just smart enough to conform and not smart enough to know better than to conform are gold-digging harlots that don't date disenfranchised motherfuckers on psych meds or disenfranchised motherfuckers on parole. This is how they do you. And then they'll turn around like the liberal tramps they are and use their pussy power to ensnare you. When most of the problems that face the poor class stem from the Democratic Party, who have gone out of their way to control the minds and hearts of the disenfranchised proletarian. This is their get down. This is how they do. Don't be surprised when a bunch of sniveling traitors, a bunch of godless scum who wouldn't know morality from a hole in the wall, do what they do. You think they can do all this stuff to us and be real good Christians? You think they can have a strong moral code and do this to us? Men, women, and children while they pretend to care about us? You say, oh, Black Lives Matter, we're going to go show up at the protest. You think they really give a shit? They're playing their part in a movie, basically. They're actors playing their part in a movie so they can get their paycheck at the end. That's all they care about. They have sold us out. It's not just the fucking Hillary Clintons of the world that have sold us out. All these ninnies who push the party line have sold us out to Big Pharma, to secret societies, to bitter secular humanist Annie Besant. You know what Annie Besant was? She was a fucking harlot who was married to a Christian man. I believe he was a preacher or something like that. A deacon or something. She was bitter because he was a good man and she was a whore. She didn't like him holding his Christian morality over her. She didn't like living in his shadow from her perspective. So she started joining the secular crowd, the secular society, the Fabian society. She started speaking at every anti-Christian event she could go to as she was raising the ranks in Masonry until she reached, I believe she reached the 32nd degree, if not 30. I think it was the 33rd actually. I think she actually acquired the 33rd degree because as her disdain from Christianity was being expressed, she started going down a dark path that led her to pure Satanism, deistic Satanism in the closet, and atheistic Satanism went around some of her high-degree friends. That was the kind of whore she was. On record, she was basically a fucking atheist. In the closet, she was a full-fledged deistic, Satan-worshipping, literally Satan-worshipping whore. Because on the highest level of Masonry, they don't respect atheism. They push it to break down Christianity. You know, to pit the communist world against the religious world, the monotheistic world. But they're really, on the top level, Satan-worshipping trash that believe that Satan is as powerful as God and that he is more compassionate toward man. He is the liberator. He wanted to enlighten man while God wanted to keep man in the dark and keep him away from the tree of knowledge. That's how they see it. But anyway, these harlots are traitors. They are selfish scum. Because when you look at this story, right? Why does man think he deserves... You know, why would man look at that story and think he deserves the knowledge? When his creator gave him everything. He said, I'm going to give you all this stuff. But don't eat from that one fucking tree. But these Freemasonic ninnies come along and say, well, We should have been able to eat from that tree too. I mean, that is their logic. They're selfish scum. They don't care who suffers. They don't care who they betray. That's who they are by the book, by definition. Fucking trash. Selfish fucking traitors, shallow ninnies. Because they couldn't separate knowledge from wisdom. They couldn't separate spirituality that comes with having a strong connection to God and, learning a thing or two to feel like you're important. They couldn't separate the two. They couldn't make the distinction between a man of God who does what God expects and asks and a fucking coward that follows the path of Satan so they can feel like they're smart and try to use their, what they've learned to subjugate other people. Fucking coward. Just scum. Just scum. Just selfish, shallow fucking scum. And it goes back to the traits. Selfishness, shallowness, materialism, conformity, cowardice, evilness, and lies. This is who they are. You got to see beyond their nice little suit, their cool little haircut. You got to see beyond the illusion. They're just a human being who has chosen the dark path. Darkness. What does darkness do? It conceals. What does getting all done up do? It conceals what you really are. I wonder how many people see them for what they really are and see beyond the glitter, the gold, the diamonds, the nice things, and see them for who they really are. Who's that person who said that beauty is skin deep, right? That's wrong. It's actually what is inside that makes you beautiful. And if you follow what is inside, you will work on your mind, body, and soul. And quite often, more often than not, you will be beautiful on the outside as well, because you will understand to work on your mind, body, and soul. Knowledge should be used to do the will of God, not to subjugate men and to have, quote unquote, the self-direction of humanity. It goes hand in hand with Masonry. I knew before I knew Francis Galton was a Mason that Masons came up with eugenics. If you look at my older videos, that's how I was explaining it to people. I was like, look, eugenics is textbook Masonry. It is philosophy and science overlapping. It comes straight from the elite, just like Masons. It serves the purpose of the elite, just like Masonry. And they believe in making your own destiny, just like Masonry. They believe that they're directing society, just like Masons control and direct society. It is textbook. It is Masonry manifest. And lo and behold, like everything else, I was right. While people, are impressed with this nonsense. They're impressed by evil. That's why I tell them, like, look, you do not have good judgment, women, if you're impressed by evil. You're buying the illusion, and you expect me to conform to the illusion? Madness. You want to judge me with this scale of the illusion? You tree of knowledge eating fucking scum? What do you know about wisdom, you harlot? Why can't you make the distinction? Don't you dare ever expect me to see you as an equal when you're a bad judgment-having, conformist, lesser sex, Babylonian harlot bitch. Get that the fuck out of your head. It will never happen. Respect is earned. Just like a place in heaven is earned. And if you believe in the illusion, if you don't carry your cross, you are not worthy of God. If you are not worthy of me, you are not worthy of God. By default. If in order to do God's will, I must be seen as a jerk and be harsh to everyone that doesn't do it, so be it.
There's a bunch of godless scum that don't understand what it means to be a man. They're a bunch of New World Order trash. I'm not going to take any advice from anyone, nor do I need anyone's help. And I sure as hell don't want it. And I would say this even if they weren't trying to harass me with their bitch-ass advice. I'm a leader, not a follower. I calculate things thoroughly. Not some kind of groupthink ninny. Not going to follow the path of some fucking coward. And I know who all of the perps are. I'm going to be contacting some of them and making it clear that they don't have me fooled in case they're wondering. I'm a transcendent hero. And I want you all to ask yourselves 3 fucking words in a question. Was it you? Oh, by the way, I'm in one of your hoods right now.